Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Let's capture, who are all these people who are watching these cooking shows? And they're stoners, right? So I'm wondering, is this a program that Netflix has absorbed? I don't know, what is the purpose of Netflix making a 14-minute show? Now, aside from those 2 interesting facts about this show, the show is fucking terrible. Do not watch this show. It fucking sucks.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
Say goodbye to the unions.
Renee, what was the decision? And then we'll go to Patrick.
It doesn't matter. Just say goodbye to the unions.
No. But I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you what was in the decision yesterday.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, let me look it up.
Yeah, he'll go look it up at glennbeck.com.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Most high school boys, what do we got on our mind? Sex and girls and girls and sex and sex and sex.
And booze and drugs.
Yeah, the Asian guys I knew in high school, I don't know, I'm sure they thought that way, but perhaps they were more disciplined about it. Although there was this Japanese girl in high school that your old friend, the Black Avenger, had the hots for. Oh, my God. Be still my sake wanting to drink self.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and even if you did that, it doesn't give you the right to grab your Uber driver's private. I mean, and like, what part of that to him sounded like a good idea?
Oh, she played a special song.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before.
This is an Internet Network news break. IP Pingsley reporting. Our top story, the Great American Broadcast Network, otherwise known as GabNet, is now a TuneIn partner. TuneIn, the world's largest audio network, has joined forces with GabNet, the world's most innovative talk network. GabNet's partnership with TuneIn means that listeners now have 3 main ways to listen to GabNet programming: Gabnet.net, TuneIn.com, and the convenient TuneIn app for smartphones. To participate in the network's innovative citizen panels on GabNet programs, use Skype and type the handle GabNet Live, or call on your phone 347-352-0079. For more information on this network, its programs, and its hosts, log on to Gabnet.net. That's Gabnet.net. This has been an Internet Network news break.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Oh, the Cramps. Oh. Singing.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Ramble. Oh, man. I was really sick last night, and tonight I'm not that much better, and it's being complicated by the fact that for some reason I got like some horrible just stomach cramps. Now, I don't know. When you get a cold, what do? Well, the first thing you do, let's take some aspirin for the sore throat. Okay, you take some aspirin for the sore throat. And then what else do you take? Well, some of that NyQuil stuff isn't bad. Take some of that. Chug down the NyQuil. Before you know it, the next morning, your stomach is like roiling, just going crazy. And so tonight, just about an hour ago, I was sitting here, and I got the worst cramps I've gotten in my gut in years. And I think it's a combination, I think, of the medicine I've been taking. Like I have some NyQuil in me right now, or I have Dayquil in me, because Dayquil keeps you awake. And I didn't take any aspirin now, but I'm still got these hellacious cramps. So I'm not really set to do a program tonight. But I'm doing it anyway because they say the show must go on. However, last night it didn't. And the reason it didn't is I was so sick. I mean, this cold was so bad that I didn't see how I could make it through 2 hours of a program. It just seemed like a virtual impossibility to me. I barely could get on the reruns that I was playing in its place. And I had a video I ran last night. Here, wait a minute, let me see here. If any of you watched the show last night, this is probably one of what you saw over and over again. I ran this in a loop. Here we go. Look at this. See, there we have the Gabnet logo. And soon it will say Alex Bennett's Ramble. And then I come on. This was last night. And I say, come on, Alex. Hi, everybody. I'm not even wearing a hat tonight. If you hear my voice, you can hear that I have a really bad cold. And there's no way I could do a show tonight. And so rather than do a show, I'm not going to do one. And we'll just play this over and over again so people know we're not doing a show. When my voice is like this, I could maybe do 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden I wouldn't be able to talk anymore. I know my own voice. Plus, I'd be doing this all night. And that doesn't sound good either. So anyway, what we're going to do is if you go over and listen to the audio, we're going to play an old show. And here we're just going to run this over and over again so people know that I'm not doing a show. By the way, this is a recording. But I apologize for not doing it. I should be okay tomorrow. Usually when I get a cold, it's like the first day was like last night where I'm sniffling a lot. Yeah. The next day I wake up, I'm like this. And then the third day, I'm starting to cure again. So hopefully I'll be able to do a show again tomorrow night. But I always feel very apologetic that I can't do a show. Because I'm sick. Because I like to think that I've been almost at death's door and done programs. And people say, see, now I'm going to sneeze. And I don't want to. So I have to blow my nose rather than sneeze. Anyway, I'll be back. I'm sure I'll be back again tomorrow night, okay? All right? I'm sorry. I don't want to be sick, but I am. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow night. And this is tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here because we're here because we're here because we're here. And I had that in a loop, and that was going over and over and over again last night. So yeah, that's what you got if you wanted to deal with me, you know. Anyway, so now I'm feeling not as sick as I was feeling last night. I'm not feeling well, as I told you. I have the stomach cramps, which I don't know what that is, you know. But I had a stomach ache earlier this morning, and tonight, just before I came on, about an hour, I said the cramps were terrible. So if at some point they get really bad, and we have a decent citizen panel, I'm just going to let them talk with each other, and I'm going to go off to the bathroom and try and relieve myself of the cramps. But right now, it's okay,
And right now I'm not feeling really sick like I was last night. So, there's the old showbiz adage that the show must go on. And I've never been able to figure out who came up with that one, because it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. Okay? I'll just say that from the get-go. But anyway, but you see, I still have a cough. Anyway, and I may go to the phones early. I always say that, There's something about colds, though, that we probably should talk about, and that's how the best way to get rid of colds. What I find is, if you have a chance, there's a thing called Coldies, and Coldies is terrific. Coldies, I don't want to do a commercial for them, but it is terrific. It lessens, it doesn't necessarily make the cold go away, but it lessens the amount of time you have to live with it. There's a theory about them. What it is, it's a zinc delivery system. Now, Alex, what is a zinc delivery system? Well, here's the thing. It is a known fact that zinc will lessen a cold. In fact, if you feel a cold coming on and you start sucking on zinc, you probably, or if you're around people who are sick a lot, having colds, just take zinc. All right, let me explain to you why. See, when you're, how you get a cold is, you don't get it from, somebody can sneeze in your face and you're not going to get it. All right? That's an old wives' tale. And I don't know why they call it a cold, because you have a fever and you're hot. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, the way you catch a cold is from something simple like, I know, you go into a bathroom and you use the faucet, and somebody else has had a cold and he uses the faucet. And now you've got a little bit of those germs on your fingers. And then maybe you just do something as simple as this, okay? Well, the germ then gets wiped up to your nose, and then it goes up the nasal canal, and when it gets to a certain point, it then starts infecting or inflaming the membranes in your nose. And that's how you get a cold. You don't get it but you can get it from shaking hands or using a toilet handle, or but you could kiss your wife, she could be sick, and you probably wouldn't get it, because that's not the way you get it. All right? So what the zinc does is it prevents the germ from going all the way up the nasal cavity. It hits the zinc and it kills it or stops it, or it turns around and runs out and goes in another direction and says, I'll go to somebody else. And so zinc is a great way, if you have it in your system, to prevent the germs from getting onto your mucous membrane. Now, the problem is zinc tastes horrible. And so when people said take zinc, you would try zinc, and they went, oh, this is terrible, I can't do this, because you have to suck on them. So this company, Coldies, came up with the idea, well, let's find a delivery system for the zinc that people won't exactly mind sucking on. And they did that, and it's very good. It's actually very good. And I didn't use it this time because I didn't have any in the house. There's also one other problem. It's hard to find sugar-free Coldies, and of course I'm on a low-carb diet. So that's why I couldn't find the Coldies. But then last night I'm thinking I got to go to sleep, and I'm sick as a dog, and how am I going to go to sleep with my nose dripping and all that? I don't have any NyQuil in the house. I don't prefer NyQuil, but so I took one of my gabapentins, okay, which kind of make me woozy, and then I took one of girlfriend's super strength Benadryl. She's got like prescription Benadryl, and that just knocks you out and dries you up. And so I managed to get a certain amount of sleep. But I woke up this morning, I was loopy, and I had a stomach ache. So, what the hell? So, that isn't the worst news. The worst news of the week was that I have a chance that I have cancer. Now, don't go crazy. Don't go telling everybody, did you hear Alex Bennett's got cancer? Yeah, I probably do have cancer. because I took my PSA test and it went up a little bit. It went past 0.4, and my free PSA was low where it should be high. And so today I got the readings from the thing, and it said I have an 85% chance that I have cancer. Now, don't worry about that, because the doctor says he says, let me worry about it. He said, you know, you're never going to die of this cancer, okay? You're going to, I guarantee you'll live to 85. I mean, if you're going to live to 85. I said, but I want to live to 100. And he said, well, that's, you know, how many of us do that? And I said, my mother did. But anyway, he said, you know, if you've got cancer, it's a very slow-growing cancer, and he said we just give you hormone injections every month, and that will literally wipe out about 98% of the cancer in those kinds of cancers. And he said that's very simple. So I can say to you now that finally, after years of worrying about it, I do have cancer. Or there's a good chance I have cancer. Girlfriend's going nuts hearing me talk about this. She goes, can you take out the garbage? I say, no, I'm sorry, I have cancer. Actually, here's a statistic for all you guys who are listening. I don't want to panic you early, but if you live to be my age, which is 79 years old, do you know what the chances are you will get prostate cancer? 70%. Yes, 70%. Now, most of those are this low-grade prostate cancers. The other ones are like what Phil got, but he's in his mid-60s, okay? And his was aggressive, so he had to have his prostate removed. Here's the thing that really killed me, though, about this. I go on the web and I read about all of this. I have a medical degree from Wikipedia, okay? But do you know, they give you hormones now, and the hormones supposedly, I don't know, stop the prostate cancer from getting aggressive and growing at any kind of substantial rate. And sometimes they just disappear completely. Your PSA level goes down to like a 0.1 or something like that. I was talking to Vernon Nunn. Vernon Nunn did that. Maybe he'll call tonight, and he can talk about it. They have that kind of solution. But what they did before, you say, well, what did they do though before they had the hormones? Because hormones haven't been around forever. You know what they did before hormones? And one of the other ways they can take care of this prostate cancer? Remove your testicles. Now, I hate to say this, but you say to any guy, remove your testicles, and they go, what? You don't want to remove your testicles. And he didn't mention, my doctor, anything about removing testicles. He said, no. He says, if it turns out you've got some kind of little low-grade cancer there, the good cancer, I think he called it, like they did in the show on Netflix, what do you call it? I can't remember. The Mike Douglas thing. Danny DeVito plays the urologist. He says, I got good news, I got bad news. He says, what's the bad news? He says, you got cancer. He says, what's the good news? He said, it's the good kind. So anyway, if I do have cancer, it's the good kind. And if you want to go around and tell everybody that Alex Bennett has cancer, go right ahead. I will love taking the pity and the stuff that goes with it. Okay. Anyway, so where was I? So there was something I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it is. I'm loopy tonight, by the way. And if I get really tired, I'm going to close the show down early. I never do. I always say I will, and then we get into a discussion, and I'm enjoying myself, and, what the hell. But anyway, and I ordered a new computer today. Like I need a new computer, right? How many do I have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there in the other room, 5, 6, 7 computers. But I had to get something. Or I had to get a powerhouse, so that's what I bought today. I got it on eBay because it's too expensive if I don't get it on eBay. Even if I was making big bucks, I wouldn't buy it not on eBay. And these people guarantee it 100%. You can return it within 30 days if you don't like it. And they stand behind their product, and they have 100% rating on eBay. So hopefully everything will be fine that way. The only problem was I ordered it, and then I suddenly realized that eBay had my old email address. And that's bad because they sent the verification to me by email to the old email address and not the new email address. I wrote them to give them the new email address. So I gave it to them, and they said, "Can you prove to us that this is your email address?" And so I just sent them a letter back from that email address and said, "Here, this should be proof." And then they said they were closed for the weekend, so I won't know what happens on that one. But anyway, if the card went through and everything has been processed, and in about a week and a half, I will be getting my new spiffy, so powerful I could launch rockets to the moon Mac. Okay. Anyway, and something everybody I ever asked about buying something on eBay never had any complaints about what they bought on eBay. That they really felt protected by eBay, and that eBay doesn't let people sell stuff unless they live up to a certain code of ethics and whatever. So, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I tell you what I did once. I never did this before, but I needed a DAT player. I don't know if you remember DAT. It's digital audio tape. But I had quite a few shows on DAT that, in fact, you hear here on the weekends when I play old shows, that I had to make recordings of, and I didn't have a DAT machine. So I went on there, and there was somebody selling a DAT machine, but you had to bid for it. And I went through the bidding process. Do you know at the very end when everybody's bidding, and then you're bidding a little higher than them, and they're bidding a little bit higher than you, and you're bidding a little bit higher than them? Do you realize what a rush that is? If you've ever done it, it's like a rush. And then all of a sudden it says, "You got it. You're the winner." And I got it, But, I mean, it was like, it's amazing. The actual bidding on eBay, when there's a bidding thing, I mean, there's certain products you just buy it, buy now. And they don't put it up. My throat's starting to go. For bidding, hold on a second. Which one of these is this what is this? This is the Halls, right? Okay. Is this good enough for me to, yeah, it looks, yeah. Does that look good to you? Look at that. Look at that. Do you see that? Look, is Halls supposed to look chalky? I don't think so. Well, let me see. What else do I have here? Another Halls. Let's see if this one's any better. Is it any better? No. Look at that. See, on one side, it looks almost good, and on the other side, it looks terrible. Look at that. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me take off my earphones, if you don't mind, for a moment, folks, here. And let me go down here and get a fresh Halls. There we go. Then I won't cough during the show. See? I'm medicated, folks. I'm medicated. But anyway, so so what was I saying? What was I talking about? I forgot now. Anyway, so I've given you a lesson in how to not get a cold. By the way, here's another thing. I like to think that I'm the Sacagawea of aging. Remember who Sacagawea was, Lewis and Clark? She was the woman who walked ahead of the party with her hand to her forehead, looking at the distance and taking them across the country. She led them into the wilderness because she knew where she was going. Well, I'm kind of the Sacagawea of aging. I'm here to guide you through the wilderness of aging and tell you what you have to expect. And I don't know that there's anything really, excuse me if I blow my nose. There we go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about aging, that as you get older, everything goes wrong that should go wrong. Betty Davis once said, "Aging ain't for sissies." And it's true. It is a daunting process, and you know something, I really don't know what I have to live for. I'm trying to figure it out. Every morning I wake up and say, what do I have to live for? I don't have a career anymore, so I can't be excited that something's happening in my career, or I'm continuing in my career, or I have a job to do in my career. So I don't have that. I'm happily married, so I don't have any girlfriends. And before, when I had girlfriends, that kept me really active because I was, if nothing more, just trying to keep them all away from each other. And then what else? Yeah, I mean, none of the things that used to work as well as they used to work. I mean, my feet are numb. I've got a torn meniscus. And, but there's nothing seriously wrong with me. Oh, excuse me, except for the cancer. Pass that around. Alex Bennett has cancer. I want to see how many people call me up and go, Alex, I heard you had cancer. Speaking of which, I was talking to my ex-wife, Ronnie, today because she, she's terminal. She's going to die. And she's handles it very interestingly. But if I were in her situation, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be going nuts right now. I would not take that kind of news very well. And she said she hasn't taken it that well, but she's come to terms with it finally, and she did some therapy, which we're going to talk about the next time she's on, that is helping her get through this. Because, my father once said to me, because I always quote my father because he was the wisest man I ever knew, he said to me, when I die, I want to get hit by a Mack truck. He said, I don't want anything that's going to linger, and I'm going to suffer, and I'm going to have one operation after another. The Mack truck comes along, boom, I don't know what happened to me. And you can then all go to the funeral and feel sorry. And I kind of agree with that, that I don't know if I would want to go through some kind of prolonged situation like, say, Ronnie is going through. Because that would, I don't know, drive me nuts. And I have another friend. I got a call, a note the other day. This guy, I got willed a certain amount of money and half a photographic collection from this woman that I knew, so that we can hopefully in some way promote her pictures. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're trying. And the guy who is kind of my partner in this, because he got half the photos and half the money, writes me the other day and says, I've got cancer, lung cancer. He had pneumonia, went into the hospital. They took some x-rays and they said, guess what? So I don't like this kind of information. It bothers me. And I've got one person in Ronnie. Ronnie was my wife, but even though somebody was your wife, they're kind of still family, And in recent years, we've become very good friends, and I feel very bad about it. So anyway, hey, guess what? I actually talked for a half hour. Gee, I guess that's what I do for a living, huh? Let me go to the. Yeah, we're going to it. Okay, we are now on Skype. So if anybody wants to call, see, that's a blank screen right there. That's Skype without anybody on it, right? In fact, they keep bugging me. This version of Skype will be discontinued soon. To continue using Skype, fuck you. I hate Skype. I wish there were another thing than Skype. I wish somebody out there start another company with that's better than Skype and runs better and is more user-friendly, because we've been trying to work with the new Skype, especially for Jack Bishop, who can't roll his back for some reason or another. And I tried playing with it over a remote PC program, and it is so unintuitive and counterintuitive that you almost can't figure out how it works. I mean, if you're going to improve something, what you do is make it simple enough that you can make it work. Now, Skype works very easily for me. For instance, somebody rings, and then they have a picture, and then what I do is I then do that, and there's like Jeff Stein. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
How you doing?
I've been as sick as you have.
Really?
Yeah.
You had the cold?
I've been going to the doctor, all kinds of pills.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's just a cold, right?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Well, you don't know that it's the same thing.
Well, I know.
You know, I mean, but I've got, I'm like, really, it's a terrible cold. And I don't know how I got it. Somebody gave it to me, but I don't go out that much. In fact, I haven't been out for about 3 days. I've been indoors all the time. But somehow I got it anyway. Hey, here comes Vernon. Here's Vernon Nunn, ladies and gentlemen. That's his doggy, too, that picture. There's Vernon's doggy. Hello, Vernon. How are you? Wait a minute. His picture is... There it is. There it is. Where you're back home again.
Yep.
And look at that. There's a whole ham set back there and everything. Here comes Phil Meyer to make our lives a living hell. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, last night's show was one of the best you've ever done.
I know. Did you watch the video?
Over and over.
Yeah. I put it on a loop, and it just ran over and over. There was no way last night, I'm telling you, there's no way last night I could do the show.
I know.
You know?
You sounded like shit.
Huh? I sounded like shit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you did.
But I feel, I do feel better today. It's just I don't feel great today. Like I've got to take care of the stomach cramps. I took some Imodium, and I took one. Well, you're supposed to take 2 of the Dayquil. Okay, so I will not. My nose will not be dripping as much for the next couple hours. You know.
The reason you get cramps is if you're taking these hormones, you may be getting a period.
No, I'm not taking hormones yet.
All right.
Vernon was very nice. Vernon wrote me a very reassuring note a while back about the PSA test and everything. And you had a bout with, I hate to say a bout with
touch of the cancer.
Touch of the cancer. But they managed to curb it, right?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways they can treat it. One is what they did to Phil. Ouch.
Yeah.
One is they could do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
One is they can put these little seeds in the prostate that will irradiate the prostate from internally, and one is the treatment that I took, which was radiation treatments externally. They put you in this machine, and this little radiation machine kind of goes over the top of you, and it stops every 45 degrees and shoots a beam, a real narrow beam, at a pinpoint, and it. It's focused on the prostate and causes it to shrink. And my PSA went from 9.2 down to 0.4.
Didn't you say
that the proton therapy?
Wait a minute. Didn't you say that you did that you did hormones though?
No,
you didn't do the hormones.
No.
Well, my doctor said that what he would do is give me hormones. He says it will literally bring the PSA down to a 0.1. You know.
David Hayek had something called proton therapy.
Yeah.
I looked into it, and they said, that it may come back, and you know what? Sometimes if it comes back, bless you. If you have these kinds of therapies, now I thought Marjorie had a friend that had the seeds, the radioactive seeds.
I don't know if he had the seeds, but he's dead. So
it came back, and Marjorie told me it was the seeds. So you might want to.
He told me, the doctor told me that with what I probably, if I have it, what I probably have is the kind of thing where he just gives you hormones, and it literally knocks out about 98% of the cancer.
Did you have a biopsy done?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, and
that's the only way they can really tell.
It's not.
If they do a biopsy.
It's not necessary in the future. 6 months from now, I'm going back to him. We're taking a new test. This one went up. It went up to like 4.3, and my free PSA was kind of low, down around a 9. So on the thing, it said I have an 85% chance of cancer. But my doctor told me the reason I don't like people to read their own results is you really don't know what they mean.
Well, that's true.
And
plus you could have a low-grade infection or something that could cause PSA to go up.
Well, he went in there. He looked at my prostate with the sonogram, and he looked at. He stuck his finger up there to feel around, just to do that one, which is kind of the gold standard test. And he said, your prostate looks pretty good. I said, doesn't look really good? He said, well, it's a little large. And he said, you've got some calcium deposits there. He said, but I don't see anything. So...
What, do you have his head up your ass? How's he going to see it?
He did it with a sonogram. Up my ass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, they that sonogram thing, they stick it... Because now they're doing these biopsies where they put a thing in there and they
it's a sonogram.
It's not a sonogram. It's MRI.
Well, no, I think it's a sonogram.
When they did my biopsy, they had a probe that actually had a sonogram built into it also.
Yeah.
So they could actually see where they were taking the biopsy from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said, I'm looking around the back of your prostate, I'm looking around the front of your prostate, and he couldn't see anything, So he said, come back in 6 months, let's see if the thing goes up, then we'll decide what we're going to do next. He says, if at some point we decide that you've got a low-grade cancer, he says, we just do the hormones. He says, you'll live to be 95. I said, well, that's better than I expected, so give me those hormones right now, But... Anyway, so I'm using it. When girlfriend says take out the garbage, I go, not now. I've got cancer. Would you like to go out and have dinner tonight? No, I don't think so. The cancer's acting up. But there's a 70% chance that everybody here will have it. And I was talking to my business manager today. I said, "Do you get a PSA test?" He says, "Not anymore."
Well,
and I said, you don't know. You might have it, but it doesn't matter if you do have it because you're going to live longer. Your life expectancy is not as long as the expectancy of that cancer.
Well, it's true. It's true. There's 3 people on this panel of 5 that have cancer, or had, or prostate cancer.
Oh, yeah. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
That's good because then I'm the one lone guy that doesn't have it. So
did Jeff have it?
No, Jeff didn't have it.
No. Okay. So
he just had heart problems. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he's been sick enough.
Yeah, the only healthy one here is fucking Rob.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't poison it.
But I supposedly, I mean, the prostate cancer is something that 90% of men, if they live long enough, will get. So it's
comforting.
It's comforting in that it is not the kind that's going to kill you, okay? And they just take what they call a wait and watch method, which is don't jump into it, Now I imagine,
it will kill you, but they're going to push you in front of a bus.
Yeah. No, I'm worried about my wife killing me more than I am about.
I heard your pregame or the the first half hour where you're talking about what your father said, and I am so down with that. I am not afraid to die. I'm afraid of what I'm going to die of. So
yeah,
I am so down with that. Bolt of lightning, a bus, a terrible car wreck. I don't care. Whatever it is, let it wipe me out.
Well,
I don't want to have to find out like Ronnie's going through.
Okay, but let me give you the alternative. All right? The alternative is you get wiped out by a Mack truck. Okay? You don't know what happened to you, you're dead. But that morning you had a fight with your wife and left the house with it unresolved, or there were a whole bunch of things. What I liked about people who I read about knowing they were going to die, and people like Audrey Hepburn and Ingrid Bergman and so on,
they're dead.
They went back home. They went back home and said their goodbyes to everybody and made peace with the people they wanted to make peace with and all that. So there is an advantage to going slowly in wrapping stuff up. Well, let me give you an example. Ronnie brought this up. She found out a couple of months ago that a kid that she had when she was 19, I think, maybe 18, suddenly found her through Ancestry.com. They say, hey, you have somebody that's could be your son or is your son or whatever. And they got together, and she got to meet what is her grandchild. She says, people I never knew existed, and the kid turned out to be a great kid. And she said, I was very happy with that. And she said, if I had not had that operation a while back on the pancreas, that at least kept me alive for a while, I would have never had that. And she said, it's so wonderful that with all that's going on in my life, this one basic unresolved incident in my life has been resolved. And I think it's wonderful. I'm so happy for her. I can't believe it, you know.
It's a high price to pay for that.
There's a high price to pay for that. And the sad part about it is her son just found her, and he knows he's not going to have her much longer, you know.
It's not that high. Ancestry was on sale for $49.95.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's $69.95.
Yeah, inflation. It's the tariffs.
Well, it's all Trump's fault.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. But that, you know, I mean, yeah. The question is, how do you want to die? You know, and I think that we never choose the way we're going to die. That's the problem. You know?
I just don't want to die at my desk. You know.
Which desk? The one you're at now?
Well, I die at this one 4 nights a week, but
well, I often said that I wanted to die while I was on the air.
Yeah,
you know, because I mean,
you get good ratings that way.
Jack Spector died that way.
Did Jack Spector die on the air?
Huh? Jack Spector died on the air at WHLI.
Oh, really? I didn't
yeah,
know
he
that.
was playing a record. He was, you know, the oldie, the standard.
Yeah.
You know, he was working there, and a record just ended. And dead air, and they went running into the studio. They found him on the floor, dead.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
You know, you died the way you lived, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I spent my entire time in radio studios, and I figured, if I had to drop dead, heart attack right on the air, thump. What, Alex?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Do you know how dirty the floors are in radio studios?
You're dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you want to die on one of those floors?
And they get very...
That's the way I'd want to go.
And they do get very dirty. I remember when I left Sirius, a company that was making money, the floors were filthy. The carpets were just... They needed to recarpet the whole place.
Yeah.
And they couldn't decide whether they wanted to or not. You know. I don't know. Why do radio studios' carpets get so filthy?
Because you live in them.
Disc jockeys are pigs.
Well, you live in them.
You eat in
you
there.
Eat in there. You do everything in them.
Yeah.
There's something about the smell of a radio studio that I really love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't. When you walk into a radio station and go into that control room, there's something about the smell that just is like.
It's all that carbon tetrachloride they use to clean electronic.
It's burning wires.
No, there is a smell in a radio studio.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if this studio smells that way at all. You know, I have a lot of electronic equipment in here. You know, so whatever.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just you in there, and it's your home. It's not a radio studio that doesn't get cleaned the way a home does, and. You know, the carpeting on the walls that they have and all that, and that, you know, your room has got a lot of mirror in front of you. It's all mirror and all that. Mm-hmm. It's different. The walls are different. There's something about the smell. And a lot of them have been around from the days of when you were able to smoke in the studios. Mm-hmm. So it's all built in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, you must have at least 12 people every day or something like that.
At one time, yeah. Today you got morning drive and maybe afternoon drive, and the rest of the day it sits empty. But yeah, at one time it was manned 24/7. Somebody in there, and people smoked, and the microphones always smelled like shit. The foam on the microphone, and a lot of people I know brought their own.
Yeah. Yep. But. I lived in radio studios. I grew up in radio studios, you know. So, Phil, I ordered my Mac Pro.
Congratulations.
I
hope you enjoy it.
Here's what I'm getting, a Mac Pro with Sierra in it.
Well, you can upgrade it.
Of course. Let's see here. It's a Mac Pro, 64 gigabytes.
Very nice.
1 terabyte SSD. Are you ready for this? 12 core.
Wow.
2.7, 12 core.
To get 64 gigabytes
Yeah.
of memory, Newegg, it's like $550. So plus tax, plus whatever else they do to you. So what did you pay for the thing? $3,000?
About 3,300, 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah. Well, if you would have gotten, a more basic one like mine, I think I have 16 gigs
So the
and
current
a
retail
6-core.
The current retail price of this exact configuration is $6,999.
Yeah.
No way I was going to pay that.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot of money.
that machine that you have is the kind of machine they were using at Pixar a few years ago, and so forth. It is so powerful. You'll really like it.
The gigahertz on it is low, which is a 2.7, but you have to then add all the 2.7s together in each of the cores. And supposedly for doing things like video and stuff, it's faster.
It's a monster.
It's a monster. So, I've got a reason to use it. I got it to do all the stuff with these photographs of my friend and maybe putting together a documentary on her. So,
yeah.
Well, it sounds like you could create an avatar of yourself, Alex, and then the avatar could do the show.
Yeah, that's that too. And then the avatar, the first words come out of his mouth, "Hey, folks, I've got cancer."
My Mac Pro processor is a 3.5 6-core Xenon E5. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, mine also has the the D700 Fire Pro.
That's the same one I have. The graphics AMD Fire Pro D700.
Yeah.
6144.
Yeah.
Megabytes.
Yeah.
So that's great. I like this. If I had a little bit more memory, which I will get, when I use the sliders.
Can you buy it aftermarket?
Oh yeah.
So you get it cheaper then. You don't. If you buy it from Apple, it'll cost you more than if you buy it aftermarket.
The new egg, I think, is about the cheapest for that.
I'll tell you why I went to. Of course, these are all 2013 Mac Pros because they haven't made one since then.
The new one they're saying is going to be $14,000 for a similar configuration.
$14,000?
Yeah. Right.
You could get a server cheaper than that. What are they, nuts?
Well, you don't need a server.
Yeah, but anyway, what I figure is that even if it's used, they say the description was superb condition, not a nick or scratch on it, just really in good shape. And from what I know of Macs, because I've had Macs, they don't die on you. They just don't. If they're going to die, they're going to die in the first week. But the Mac Pro I've got sitting here has been going since 2011, and another one I was using in the other room has been going since about 2007.
Oh yeah, that thing.
I bought my Mac Pro from a friend.
Yeah.
Lives in New York now, and he bought it in Australia. When he moved to New York, it still had the Australian plug on it. Oh. So I had to call up Apple. It's hard to buy a plug because it's a proprietary plug the way it fits into the back.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's got a shroud on it, and it matches the back.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I know.
The design.
They have the same thing on the iMac. They have the same thing on my computer down here. It's just a slightly different configuration.
Yeah, I could have used the regular one.
You just buy it from Apple, right?
Yeah, but for them to sell it to me, they went through all sorts of gyrations. They couldn't find it in inventory. They didn't have.
Oh, come on.
Come on. It took 4 phone calls, and the guy was so embarrassed that he sent it to me for free.
It's a standard part for crying out loud.
It is not. Well, it's standard for the Mac Pro, but not for the rest of the.
But I mean, to think they certainly should have it in stock.
Well, it took them several phone calls. It was a joke, and also because my Mac was originally made in Australia, or it has a serial number that goes back to Australia purchase.
Yeah,
they had a hard time putting 2 and 2 together. So finally, they sent me one.
What are these? One of the geniuses at the Genius Bar?
No, this was Apple Care on the phone.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I also got my American Express rewards points back.
Yeah.
So now I can go buy something else with the rewards points.
How you enjoying the sand?
You mean the NAS?
The NAS, yeah.
NAS. I love it. I love it. I think it's
Mine
terrific.
is powered off.
What?
Mine is powered off. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why?
No, it's too fucking noisy.
I'll tell you, I found it noisy in the beginning, and now I don't seem to mind it.
Well, I know what you're talking about, the hard drive noise while it was doing the RAID. It was building the RAID, but mine vibrates, and it drives me up a wall, and I don't want to put it.
Put a rubber pad under it.
I'm worried that a rubber pad under it would not give it the what do you call it? The ventilation that it needs.
Well, no, the ventilation comes out of the back. There's a fan in the back.
I don't know. I mean, I could try a rubber pad, but the damn thing just and it makes me nuts, and I have it sitting in my office powered off.
You know what you do?
Fucking hate this thing.
Wait a minute.
Get a Drobo.
Get a hold of the company. I dealt with them.
I did too with a couple of things,
and they were very good. They were very good.
Maybe yours is defective because yours doesn't make that noise, Alex.
No, of course.
You've got a different model.
I have a different model. I have the 4.
Well, send it back.
You have the
Tell
two,
them you're not happy.
You have the
So
two.
the problem with sending it back is I didn't buy it from Amazon. I bought it from Woot, and Woot doesn't take things back. You got to deal with the manufacturer.
Well, I would get a hold of them. They're very good. I'll tell you. I mean, I had a problem with mine that it wasn't a terrible problem. It was just I did something and I didn't know how to undo it. And the guy literally got on my machine from China or wherever he is and removed the folder that I needed to have removed, and then told me how to get rid of it. And I mean, he spent a couple of good hours trying to figure out what my problem was, and all I spent was $285, right? So I really have a great love for that company, and I think the product seems to be really good. The only thing I don't like about a RAID is that on RAID 5, I've got 16 terabytes of drives in there, but I'm only yielding about 10.7.
Well,
That's
obviously,
because you're using it as a RAID to have backup.
Yeah, so if you lose a drive, you're in good shape. That's the cost of having that, Now,
what if you did
being protected?
Isn't there a RAID 3 there?
No, there's RAID 1, RAID 5, and RAID 6.
I have RAID 6. I have 5 8-terabyte drives, and I have 21 terabytes of storage.
5 8-terabyte drives. That means you have 5 times 8 is what? 40?
Right. But I only have 21 because I'm running RAID 6.
Yeah, and RAID 6 is actually 2 drives that you're giving up. Because you can afford to lose 2 drives in your RAID group without losing your data.
Right.
Now, what do you use it for, Alex? I'm curious as to what you're practically using it for right now.
Porn. No, I'm not using it practically for anything right now, but I have had in this house several different drives. I have 2 drives here. One is TV and one is movies. Okay, I took a lot of my movies and I converted them to files so I can then watch TV programs or whatever anywhere in the house. The other one is porn. But what I'm doing is I'm just playing around with it right now. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to use it for.
Okay, I was curious because I'm sitting here wondering the same thing. Like mine doesn't have an HDMI port on the back, so you can't plug it directly into like your home theater system or your TV. So you would have to use like Plex, or you'd have to use one of those.
All you got to do is like what kind of TV set do you have? Who makes the brand?
I've got any number of them. I've got Vizio. I've got Samsung.
Okay,
I've got
all of those have.
Well, they're all smart TVs.
All of them have DLNA.
Yes.
And so you just simply run your programs through the DLNA from your NAS. And in the
but
NAS,
don't you need a program? You need a DLNA program
well, there
on
is
the
a
NAS,
DLNA
right?
program on the NAS. If you look at the control center, there's a whole area where you can turn on the DLNA, and you do. That's what I do, and so I get them on all my TV sets in the house.
Have you tried it yet?
Yes.
Have you put a movie on there and tried it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I haven't. You know, since first I had so many problems with it. Right.
Yeah.
I had the drive go bad. And then I finally got all the drives and everything is in there, and I was excited. And then I was sitting in my office and I'm trying to work, and I'm on the phone. I'm talking to people, and this thing is just humming. And I was like, shut it down.
Do you think it's because you bought $89 drives? These drives were like almost $300 a piece.
I bought these drives, the drives he got, same exact drives, and they're all working perfectly.
Okay.
No,
yeah, it's the chintzy. Now the caddies, Alex, on your device, the caddies that fit around the drives,
they're
that you slide them in.
They're chintzy.
Are they plastic or are they metal?
Plastic.
Okay, so you got plastic ones too. Mine, there's no way. Normally, you screw them on.
Yeah.
You screw the drives into them. Mine, you only have like these little pins on that fit into the holes, and you can just spread it and it comes apart.
Oh, no. What mine has is it has a hole and then has some screws that come with it.
See, I don't have screws. I think that's part of the problem. I think those drives vibrate.
That could well be it, because all mine had screws. The screws came with the machine. Right. And I just installed all of them using those screws, and I don't get any rattling at all from the drives at all.
Rob, tell these guys that the drive was defective and you want to send it back.
I've already had different drives, and it's
not
the same
the drive.
thing.
I'm sorry, the unit.
I'm surprised
send it back and then get another NAS that you can stick your drives in.
I'm surprised they didn't have the same what do you call it, caddies.
Well, he's got a 3 or 4, and you got a 3.
I got a 4, and he has a 3. But it's the same basic machine, and it's the same basic company, so the caddies should be identical. They look alike from the outside.
Do you have? Is yours? Do you have like mine? You have to take the case off to get to the drives. Yours, you have the things in the front you can just open, right?
You just pull them out.
It's a different form factor.
That could be the reason. See, I'm glad I bought the ones from Woot, and then I turned around and had Woot cancel my order, which was hell to pay. But I got them to do it, and then I went to Amazon and I saw this thing, and it was $100 higher, but for 4, and front loading. And with the Amex rewards, I didn't have to pay anything. So
I'm wondering if I call QNAP and tell them I'm very unhappy with it, if they'll just let me upgrade.
They might let you upgrade. They probably charge you a little bit for it.
Well, obviously, I don't expect it free, but
Why don't you tell them it's not working right?
That's what I'm saying. It's noisy. I hate it, and I got to get rid of it.
They are actually very, very, very good.
Yeah, I've had like 3 or 4 different help desk tickets open with them on various things, and they're very responsive and they're very helpful.
Yeah.
But this one, there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. It's just, if I hold it a certain way, like if I pick it up and I hold it a certain way, it's quiet. But as soon as you make it flat,
I think
that's
the hard drives and the way they're seated in the unit.
Yeah, they vibrate like crazy in it.
Yeah. Well, I found a lot of clicking going on, but I haven't heard it that much lately. Now that the machine has adjusted itself.
Yeah, and so what's happened is it wrote all of its. It has to write, zeros. It has to write zeros on all the disks to make the RAID group, and it takes like 24 hours for that to happen.
You don't have to format them. You don't have to format them or anything. They just
that's part of the process. When you plug the drives in, and then you set what RAID you want, it goes through and formats it for you in that RAID. That's why it makes it sounds like percolating.
I'm very happy with it, and it's very fast. And you know what's fast? What's really fast compared to the other ones I have, which is like 2 Seagates. And by the way, they've stopped making these things. Seagate stopped making their network drives. But the Seagates, if I take something and put it on that drive, very slow. This thing, it's like just putting it on another hard drive. It's really
because
fast.
you got 7,200 RPMs times 4.
It's very fast.
That's why you're getting the use of multiple spindles.
My 8 terabyte is there 5,400, 5,200, 51?
54, I believe.
54. Yeah, I probably should have gotten the 70. Actually, I should have gotten the 72s.
Well, I really wish I wish I could have afforded a larger drives, but maybe at some point I will be rich enough that I can. So,
I think you can use in the Durabo. You can use different size drives. You don't have to have. You don't have to have all the same brand or all the same size.
Ladies,
or speed.
Let's typically do with a RAID group.
Let's get the audience a little bit up to speed of what we're talking about. These are drives that it's a series of drives that all work in conjunction with each other and give you a massive amount of space, and then allows you to network those drives out to your TV sets around the house.
I'm freezing. My internet's freezing.
Well, don't worry. No, you look fine. But anyway.
You guys freeze.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. So
audio is fine though, but your video is kind of skipping.
Okay. What I was saying is that now I forgot what I was saying. Can I?
You were explaining the NAS.
Can I? I can't go get an 8 and put it in there and I get more space.
No,
do I?
Not typically. Not typically.
But if I went and got 3 more 8s, then it would all.
If you have any slots left over or no?
No.
Okay, so no, you would have to rebuild your NAS with bigger drives.
And they don't have
change the subject. But how's your cold?
It's terrible. Each wait a minute. You don't. But each one has to be the same size, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what you might want to consider doing when you get down to all the streaming is you might want to team the NICs on the back. Take both of those NICs, and there's a way you can team them, which aggregates the 2 1 gig connections, and so you get 2 gigs.
Really?
Yep. It's called teaming, network teaming, NIC teaming.
Well, wait a minute. I have more than a gig going out here.
You only have a gig. I'm not talking about to the internet. I'm talking about around your house.
Around my house, I get. I
can't get more than a gig. You don't have 10 gig networking in your house.
You bet your life I do.
What are you talking about?
10 base T or 100 T? He's hardwired.
What are you? You're hardwired. You have 10 gig switches.
I changed the switch in the bedroom, and in the bedroom I'm getting like about 600 up and about 700 down, something like that.
Megs, not gigs.
Megs, yeah, not a gig.
Yeah,
no.
megs.
Right.
Because you could take the 2 1 gig ports and you can team them.
Yeah.
On the back of the array, and then you'll have double the throughput.
Oh, that's
interesting. That's what I wanted to do. I'm just not going to do anything.
This is
with
all
this
beyond
array,
our audience.
See, I flip the switch in my bedroom and the light goes on.
We're starting to lose audience on this deal as we're talking about it. So, what's new with you, Brian? Anything pissing you off? Oh, silly of me to ask.
No, well, one thing I asked how your cold was because evidently you seem to be persevering in spite of it. You know, that was.
Well, I just decided tonight I wasn't as bad as last night. Last night, I just said there was no way I could do a fucking show. You know.
Walking on eggshells. I realize what I'm about to say is walking on eggshells, but you said it yourself. You're 79 now. When you have something like that happen to you, it's kind of like, okay, is this the beginning? And I've had grandparents who've had something as innocuous as that happen to them, and then a week later. Yeah,
I had horrible stomach cramps before I went on tonight. I immediately thought, well, is this it? Is this the stomach cancer? What is it?
Is this how I'm going to go?
Because I don't usually get stomach cramps.
But yeah, speaking of age differences,
part of it is you know what can give you the cramps? So when you got a cold, you start
sneezing. Yeah.
No, you start swallowing the mucus.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. That and it can fuck with it can give you sinus headaches and shit like that. And also I find out during allergy season, especially during allergy season, my upper arms
and I know
my wrists, you'll get sore.
I know I don't sound like I have much of a cold, do I? Just a little bit, maybe. But this morning, I was like this. I was,
Yeah. But you asked if there was anything pissing me off. Oh, not really. Just like I said, a reminder of just how that I'm no longer in my 20s and that I'm staring at 40 through a pair of binoculars and not a telescope anymore.
Brian, I noticed that every decade something else breaks down. When I hit 40, it was the eyes. 50, it was other stuff. 60, now it's the cancer, and the heart. So the 70s, I'm looking forward to.
Actually, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, I haven't had much breakdown on me this last couple of years. The torn meniscus, but what's that? It's common. It's a sports injury. The only thing is, I don't do sports, but it's a sports injury nonetheless. If it goes, I just say it's just playing tackle football.
I'm talking about more intellectual and attitude differences, the way in which we see the world. Case in point, just earlier this evening, I went on a quote-unquote date with someone who's 10 years younger than myself, and I came to I had a crash.
I take it
how different we are as people.
Yeah, I take it this was a guy because you're a homo,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Still, the age difference.
You're a homo-American. I think I should probably put it that way. That's the
age difference is as dynamic between a man and a woman and a woman as it is between two people of the opposite sex.
Well, I always think there's an advantage to being gay, and I'm going to tell you the main advantage. Okay, when I had girlfriends, if let's say it was coming up on Christmas, and I bought her a present, and she decided to break up with me a week before Christmas. All right. I'm stuck with this gift I got her. But if I'm homosexual, I just wear it myself.
Unless you're
there's
like me,
the advantage.
You tend to be attracted to people who are more effeminate.
There's the advantage there.
Or if you shop at Nordstrom's, you can bring it back.
That, and if you're attracted to men who are more effeminate, who are of smaller frame and stature than you are, the negative dynamic of what you just explained still applies.
Yeah,
especially if we're talking about clothing.
So anyway,
but if you bought him a really cool piece of tech or a cool electronics thing, because guys would get into that, where women would find that not too good. At least you got the tech.
Oh, the main complaint I get from girlfriend is, "You bought me another electronic piece of equipment."
Right.
Yeah, well, it's what I know how to buy, okay? I don't know how to buy you a dress. And she says, well, buy me anything. I can always take it back. And I say, but
that's like Tiffany's.
But I say, that isn't the idea of a fucking present. The idea of a present is I give it to you and you use it.
That's why Tiffany's is so easy. You can get the Elsa Peretti thing. You can get the bracelet. You can get, and it's not as expensive.
You get the Tiffany's. Here's the one everybody's had one of, the Tiffany's key ring.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love gift cards, man.
Yeah. I had one of those Tiffany key rings. I think it lasted me 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It originally had my name on it, engraved on it, on a little tag that was hanging on it. And as the years went on, my name completely wore off,
Yeah, well, and it's most of the stuff is silver, so it's cheaper than gold.
Yeah.
And people like the box.
Yeah.
It's the easiest gift to get. And if they don't like it, they can bring it back and get something else.
And I would imagine that being gay, whether you're a woman or you're a man, is good because you have the equipment and you know how it's supposed to feel. And does that make sense, Brian? Am I speaking any kind of truth there?
You're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
At the least.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I'm a pragmatic man with some social inadequacies. In other words, social skills inadequacies, in the sense that that's one more reason why I absolutely love gift cards.
Well, I mean, I although I was not a big fan of doing it, was not my main agenda was eating pussy. I could do a pretty good job of it, but I don't think I could do anywhere the job that another woman could do. Because she has the equipment. She knows what it's supposed to feel like, what works and what doesn't work.
You're right there.
Me, she has to give me directions. Lower, more to the side, lower.
Proximity makes a difference.
Yep, certainly does.
And familiarity, for that matter.
You go too low, and it starts tasting funny.
Well, you had to bring
That's why
that
it's shower first, then that.
Yes, yes.
I heard that the actor Terrence Howard, that's why he has wipes in his house. Wants to eat a girl out from the ass or the pussy. That's why he has wipes.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Yesterday, I didn't have time to shower, but I wiped my ass clean yesterday before I left the house with like some soap and water and everything, because I knew the guy was going to stick his finger up my ass, you know, and he was
Charmin commercial,
and he was going to put that probe in there, and I knew he was going to do that. And I said to myself, I don't want a big clump of shit coming out, you know, when he leaves. So I was in there rooting around and cleaning it, you know.
You think your doctor don't have the wipes in the bathroom there?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, well, I mean, he has the gloves. They all have the gloves.
Doctor, they got him in the
here's
bathroom.
something I do. I'm a thief. Okay, may I admit this readily? And wait a minute, where is it? When I go to the hospital, like let's say a girlfriend goes to the hospital and she's broke her knee, okay, and she's in some kind of room where they're waiting to see her and so on. Over on the wall, what do they have?
Yeah. Free shit.
The Box O gloves.
Free shit.
And
that's what I say.
I always
those are the good ones.
I always steal the gloves, and I get the most colorful ones I can lay my hands on.
What do you do with them? What do you need those gloves?
I do nothing with them. I just have them, and in case I'm ever on a detective show where I have to look at a corpse, you know, I'm ready to go. I have.
Do you ever go into the drawers too? I go into the drawers.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, I pull out all the free shit I can get.
Yeah,
that's funny. I have never.
I feel like O.J. Simpson right now.
Oh yeah, because you know you get the little packs of alcohol wipes and shit because they're good for, you know, around the house. You can wipe stuff down before you stick stuff on the walls and stuff like that.
But anyway, so I always, every time I go to the hospital, I do that when they're not around, because hey, you're going to make me wait. I'm going to take something home. I know.
Plus, we pay for that shit.
Well, I
you
know.
didn't think maybe they have a camera in there?
Well, I just got.
Yeah, probably.
I just got the bill for Marjorie at the emergency room, and it was something like, I don't know, $800 or something like that.
That was cheap.
Yeah.
Is that the full thing, or just your portion?
That was not our portion. Our portion was like, you know, $16 or something like that. But
pretty good.
But if they're gonna spend that much money on me, I think they can afford a pair of gloves for me to take home. Maybe
That's the way I look at it. My wife gets pissed off. She goes, "Close that drawer. Get out of there. Get out of there."
They already used that pair of gloves. With
hey, these will be good. This will be good next time we're going to smoke a joint. You know?
There you go, little forceps. Yeah,
forceps. Yeah. You know.
What if they just turned those gloves inside out after they used it, and then you stole them and you stick your thumb in it?
Well, I mean, they're forceps, or as some of my kinkier girlfriends used to call them, nipple clamps. So, you know.
Ooh.
Ooh. You like that one, huh, Kevin?
Especially the hands are cold. That's the sound you make.
So, Vernon, what have you been up to? We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Growing old.
You know, it seems to be the theme of this fucking show, and
I know. That's why I said that. I turned 70 next Tuesday.
Do you really?
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Good. You look.
Tuesday is when? That's the 15th.
Yep, I'm born the same day as Martin Luther King Jr.
And I'm the 14th, so I turned 62 Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, and mine's the 31st, and I turn 39. So, did you see the story about Netflix? What story about Netflix? There are a lot of stories.
Oh yeah, they're not going to let you share.
What?
Really?
What? Wait, what's this?
They're not going to. They're going to start cracking down on people that share their passwords with friends and stuff.
How can they tell?
I don't know.
That's almost impossible to do.
Maybe IP address or something?
Yeah.
No, they can't tell with IP address because I travel all over the country and I watch Netflix. With
that's true, huh?
Yeah.
Not that. The only way they could really tell is if maybe you're sharing it with somebody and then you've got two IP addresses from two different areas.
At the same
time. You're
time.
accessing it from California and you're you know, but you should still be able to do that because my wife watches it.
Yeah, if your wife is watching it in one place.
And I have
but you have the same IP address.
No, not if I'm watching it in a hotel somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right.
Kevin,
you're
that's
right.
legal.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Why am I hearing this information in lieu of just recently hearing about how the stocks of Netflix have been taking a nosedive?
Everything's taking a nosedive.
Everything's taking a nosedive.
Because they want to give to me, it just tells me that they want to give their stockholders a fucking tongue bath and tell us that we can't share our accounts with family members and friends anymore.
Well, I'd like to see how they're going to crack down on it.
There's one service that I share a password with somebody with, but he only uses it occasionally, and I only use it occasionally. But how do they know that he isn't watching it at my place or watching it somewhere else? You know, it pretty much. I mean, I could give Phil my Netflix password, and he wouldn't have to pay for Netflix. He could just watch it. But the thing is, I can only have 2 people using Netflix at the same time. It will not allow a third. So if I had Phil have a part of the account, it could, could.
Oh, really?
I
tried that.
I gave a friend the thing, and I got on Netflix, and I got a email the other day that someone in another state logged into the Netflix account, and they said if this isn't what it's supposed to be, email these people. But I didn't, because they said if it's correct, do nothing.
Right.
Was it correct?
They know that, but they can't prove where you are or where your wife is or your girlfriend, or you could share it with somebody.
My son's in New York, and he shares our account.
I have a VPN, which I very seldom use, but I decided.
I understand.
I
have one too. Well, I don't use it anymore.
I tried it.
Why?
There's no reason to, I guess, And when you do use it, sometimes you can't get certain things.
Well,
websites
the thing
like
is,
Amazon.
the reason I wanted it was I gave it a try to go to England, sign on as though I'm in England, so that I could maybe watch the BBC over there or whatever, which it will let you do.
Yes.
But I tried Netflix. And I tried Netflix.
And doesn't work.
No. I think I got Netflix, but then I got a note saying someone signed on in England from your account. Was this you? And I didn't answer it.
Which is fine. You could travel to
England. About, Alex? Was that the news you were talking about, or was it something else?
No, this is another piece of news altogether. This is something to make you like Netflix.
Oh.
Netflix series that's set in North Carolina won't be filmed in North Carolina. The streaming service reportedly is choosing not to film in the state as a protest against North Carolina's anti-LGBTQ House Bill 2. The bill, commonly called the Bathroom Bill, was the focus of a firestorm that was enacted in 2016. Despite the fact that North Carolina repealed a section of the law in 2017 following a year of backlash, it didn't completely overturn HB 2. And one problematic piece of the replacement bill, per insiders, is a clause that forbids municipalities from enacting non-discrimination ordinances for any group not included in the state law, including LGBTQ people, until 2020. So they have decided that they're going to not film this show in North Carolina, and it's going to cost North Carolina $60 million.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So good for them. Yeah. No, that makes my subscription worth it, because I pay $14 a month because I get the 4K.
But we can't see 4K, don't you, Alex?
Human beings can't see 4K.
We cannot. You cannot see in 4K.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your eyeballs are not capable.
Oh, well.
Better off with Special K.
And
I'm getting mine upgraded.
How come the picture looks better?
Because it's special.
Better than high def.
It looks cleaner. Yeah, no, it looks cleaner. Yeah.
Maybe it's yourself wanting to believe that.
No,
my wife can't tell the difference between a regular DVD playing and a Blu-ray DVD playing.
To show you how good 4K is, I mean, okay, so maybe you can't see all of 4K, but it looks better than 1080p. So and that is also the format that is used when you go to movie theaters, because they're projecting all those films now through video. They're not projecting them through film. And they're all,
I guess you see better than 1080p, but you don't see quite as clear in 2160. So somewhere in between, you see.
Yeah,
you see that. Human eye sees it.
There's an improvement. You know,
there's some guys I know that have these Red Dragons and Red Epic cameras that are, I think they're 8K. And so what they do is they film in 8K and then they mix it down to 1080p and they get a much cleaner result.
8K. You know? What the?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. When you're talking about things like 4K, 6K, 8K, whatever. In fact, Apple sells their monitors. They sell at the Apple Store 5K monitors. Okay, but the thing is that and Phil will tell you this too. It's the same thing with the grain of film on film. The finer the grain, the larger you could blow something up.
Right.
You know, without having it show its distortion. So what happens is you film at 8K, so that when you go to the lower forms, it still presents itself very clean on the screen. So, you know. But it also takes up a lot of hard drive space.
And that's why you need a NAS or like what I have, the Drobo.
No.
You know, my camera is 47 megapixels.
That's not the reason why, because, you know, you can buy 12 terabyte drives now. You know.
Yeah, but then you want backup, which is very important when it comes to photography.
Well, and you just sit there and copy it onto another drive. I backed up all my network drives onto just regular drives just so I have them someday. I don't want to lose all those things I put on the movie thing that I had or the TV thing that I had, so that they won't, or the porn thing. I backed up all my porn too.
Porn is free on the net. Why would you keep porn?
Well, because it is free. You know, the small little drives, the passports and so on.
Yeah.
I bought one the other day for $99, 5 terabytes on that little drive, 5 terabytes. And I have another drive here that I bought that's an 8 terabyte drive that I bought for. I must have bought it on an off day for Costco because it was only $119. But if any other day they're like $139, $149. But I mean, we're getting into the area of 8 terabyte drives, you know, and and that one he's got there, huh?
That's 2.
That's 2. Well, I have one that size. It's a little thicker, however, and it's a 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I got to get myself another.
That's smaller.
Looks like the size of a credit card.
Oh yeah. They're getting, you know.
And they got them now that are flash. You know, what do they call them? SS. What kind of drives do we have?
The flash drives, the SSD.
SSD.
The SSDs are getting really cheap. I saw at on Amazon 1 terabytes for $64 or $79, somewhere around in there, and a 2 terabyte was something like $120, $130.
Yeah.
That's come down a great deal.
Yeah. How do you interface that with your machine?
Same way you would a hard drive.
USB or
it's SAS connected or SATA connected.
Yeah, it just has the same connector as a hard drive. Just kind of doesn't take up the space.
I'm talking about a portable one that you could use like a USB or
then unless you have USB
I have
3,
I have
slow
one here.
down write speed.
I have one here that's 256. You know. So you know. But what's been happening in the news? I wasn't paying attention much to the news today.
There was some Republican senator today that used a King. Yeah. Where's King from? Steve King?
Steve
Iowa.
King.
Iowa.
Oh, that piece of shit.
I guess
I'm not talking about Iowa. I'm talking about Steve King.
I guess he said something that was derogatory, or
he endorsed a white supremacist who's running for mayor in Canada.
Yeah, he said, "What's with all these words? What's wrong with being a white supremacist or being a white nationalist or whatever?"
When did it become a bad word?
When did it become a bad word?
White nationalist.
I think the day the Nazis used the term. I think that was the beginning of it. He's an idiot. Guy's
probably not the best choice of words.
And his party, except for very few people, haven't really come out. And Trump, when Trump was asked, that the White House said he's too busy worrying about the shutdown. Really?
I mean, he worries about the shutdown?
He doesn't care.
Well, how do we solve this shutdown? Why don't you shut it back up? You know?
But Lindsey Graham says he should go ahead and declare a national emergency, and then it'll get all tied up in court, and that'll open the government back up.
And that's why he told them, Mr. President, just declare this national emergency.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's becoming a national emergency, but it's by what he's causing. So,
very sad.
It is sad. It's very sad that we've.
Did you hear what was it? The Coast Guard told they had suggestions for what they.
Garage sale.
Oh yeah, go Uber, have a garage
sale, babysit,
grocery mystery shopper.
That was a non-sanction.
That was a mystery shopper. That just
tell that to the fucking legislators to do that.
I think that was a non-sanctioned deal, and it was taken down very quickly.
It was taken down.
You want to? It reminds me. It reminds me of the time when Walmart was paying so little that people were starving to death, and Walmart had a HR department that told people how to go get food stamps and welfare.
They still do.
They do?
They haven't stopped that.
They haven't stopped it, huh?
Well, they pay better now. They pay better now.
They're paying a little better, but they still have people that work for them full time who did food stamps.
The people who send out the food stamps aren't working right now, and the people who are getting food stamps aren't receiving them.
Have you heard of the latest news that came out tonight? The New York Times story that's out.
No.
The one where Mnuchin got rid of the sanctions on oligarch.
Nope. FBI opened an investigation into whether President Trump was secretly working on behalf of Russia right after he fired James Comey.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Well, I know you don't believe it, Phil.
Really? Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard has announced she's running for president today.
Yeah, I think that's fake news.
You wouldn't believe it if you saw a picture of him on his hands and knees sucking Putin off, for crying out loud.
Democratic representative of Hawaii.
The representative of Hawaii that was on the
Tulsi Gabbard. She is running for. She has announced she has thrown her hat in the ring. She is running for president in 2020.
This is going to be a good one. This 2020.
It's probably I probably even if Sanders does run, I may vote for her because optics matter. We need a female POTUS.
I think.
What about Kamala Harris?
No, she's running.
Corporate. Look,
she's too corporate.
Look,
no,
let's look. We can sit around. We can sit around talking about all the people that we'd like to see run for president, but we have to figure out which one can actually have a shot at winning.
I agree.
You know. Even if it's somebody we don't love particularly, can they do the job? Do they have the charisma? You know, I think there are a couple of people out there that have the charisma to do it. I think Cory Booker's a pretty good shot. I think
Cory Booker has some baggage. Didn't he do something or?
They all have.
He voted against a bill to make the cost of drugs cheaper by having them imported from Canada.
No, there was something he did years ago that was either criminal or something like that. I'll look it up. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
And you know what you said though goes for both sides. I hope Republicans come out and put up some candidates and challenge Trump because any other Republican I would not mind at all becoming president.
Well, Republican.
At this point in time, there's not a single Republican that I would trust.
Well, as I've been saying,
in the White House because they've already taken $5 trillion of revenue out of the federal government and given it away to rich folks. You got to stop that somewhere. You got to stop all this tax giveaway to the wealthiest 1%.
And by the way, how's our deficit doing?
Trickle down is an illusion. It doesn't work.
Yeah, they've all been puppetized by Trump.
Yeah, but I think that it's. I just think it's got to be somebody who's got charisma, got the goods. What's his name? Your governor in California, although it's probably too soon for him to run.
Gavin Newsom.
Newsom is going to be a stealth candidate someday. I mean, he's going to be like
2024.
Yeah, he's good. He's good looking. He speaks well. You know, it's all image now. It's all how you look. You know,
really too bad.
Cortez
I think we've had I hate to say this, and I sound like a sexist when I'm saying it, but I think we've had enough of the old haggard women trying to run for president. I don't think Elizabeth Warren has the physical goods of the looks,
had enough corporate Democrats
or the charisma to win an election.
Oh,
who was raising their hand?
Me, Phil.
Yeah.
So Cory Booker had a groping incident when he was younger. There was some accusation of groping.
Did he like beer?
You mean like grab him by the pussy? That kind of groping?
Kind of.
That doesn't matter anymore.
He likes beer.
But it was over groping. So I said he had some baggage, and that was what it was.
That doesn't matter anymore, though.
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't not anymore. Trump's proven.
Although you've got Bernie Sanders being accused of that.
He was a teenager when it
Bernie Sanders wasn't accused of that.
Cory Booker.
Bernie Sanders is accused of having
that activity in his
lot
campaign.
of activity in his campaign, and he went on television and explained it by saying, our campaign started off extremely slowly, and we gained all this momentum, and then we went out and we needed to hire like crazy, and were some of our hiring practices not what I would have preferred? Yes.
Right.
And
in spite of the fact that,
am I sorry for anything that am I sorry for anything that happened? That he goes, what we learned from that, and if I do run again, we will make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, but the thing is, you talk about Cory Booker, he was a teenager at the time. I think just about everybody can forgive that,
Well, we have a Supreme Court justice who did it, so.
Yeah.
So
the president,
it was
Supreme Court justice.
He wasn't proven. It wasn't proven.
Well, also, what I would,
if they looked, I would agree with you, maybe, but they didn't even look.
It was bipartisan. They looked.
You know what I would like?
30 seconds.
What I would like to see is for somebody to come up with a cutoff date for improprieties. Back 30 years ago, you groped somebody. Let's run them out of the business.
Well, some of it could be looked at as character, and whether or not there's a crime there, it becomes an issue of character, and that's what you would think would be with like a Supreme Court justice.
Can I say this? Although we don't hear from Renee anymore, so I probably won't get her yelling at me.
What happened?
I don't know. I have no idea. She hasn't called since before the Christmas break. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I hope she's okay.
I had a beef with her, but she apologized.
That was a long time ago. Time ago. But anyway, I've got to say that I'm beginning to see a pattern of people, women, who obviously have a hatred about guys.
Misandrists.
Misandrists?
That's the opposite term, the antonym word for misogynist. Misandrist.
Yeah. Because
it does exist.
It just seems to be and he did this and he did that. Look, if a person is a terrible human being and he does something to somebody else that's a terrible act, I say find the closest tree and string them up. But you don't suddenly go after them because they're guys. There are women who do this kind of shit too, and I don't hear them going around finding these women and saying, "Hey, did you hear what she did to this guy?"
Bill Burr has a lot of rants about the same issue.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What does he say? Because I never listened to Bill Burr.
Basically the same thing you're saying, and that one of the conversations he had with Joe Rogan in his most recent appearance was that, and they both tailed on each other with these remarks, is that there are some women like Hillary Clinton who have the same I will step on your toes, I will step on your face to get ahead, killer predatory instinct that just as much as men have.
Do you feel though that Hillary had that killer instinct? I don't feel.
Oh, absolutely. Well, to an extent, you have to have.
If she had that,
if she did, she might have been president.
Yeah, she'd be president by now.
So does Trump. They all have that characteristic. So did Obama. I mean, the campaigns he ran against Romney and McCain. I mean,
what it's not like can you call one football team going up against another football team killer instinct? I mean, you've got to have the desire to win, and you've got to be all for winning. And I don't think that necessarily is predatory in nature. It's just this is what you got to do in order to win. Because if you don't do it, the other person will. You know, I mean,
tiger's a predator, but that doesn't mean the tiger's a bad creature and should be exterminated off the face of the earth.
Right.
It's just it's a trait. It's a necessity.
That's why
I don't think it lasts very long because I was always under the impression that it had to be a win-win for both people involved. If you're doing a negotiation, if one guy wins and one guy loses, it's not a good deal. And
Trump
it's not
pretty much took the
permanent.
sledgehammer to the table there on that principle, though. So it's
they're at an impasse.
Even if it's by a cunt hair's worth of margin,
they're not at
to people like him.
They're not at an impasse.
Pelosi and Schumer. Pelosi says, "I won't give you $1." Maybe they'll give $1, but they won't fund the wall, and so
they shouldn't. It's a waste of money.
3 years ago, Obama wanted the same thing.
Well, no. You're absolutely wrong. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, Phil. That notion. That lie has been perpetrated that all 4 presidents wanted to build a wall, and that's just coming out of Trump's mouth. It is not true.
I saw the videos.
It is not true. Find me the videos.
They're right out there. They do them all the time. Of Obama saying it, of Hillary
saying what?
Of Schumer saying it.
Wait a minute.
Saying what?
Saying it.
Hold on. Did they say they were for border security and for increasing border security, or did they say
build a barrier?
No,
they didn't.
Watch the videos.
That's been completely debunked. Go to Snopes right now, and put that in. Put that in.
You're watching too much Fox because I watched it the other day, and they did the same fucking thing the other day, and they ran this shit, and they never said anything about a wall or a barrier. They just kept saying they wanted security, and then Fox would come back on and say, "Oh, see, right there. They said it right there." And they didn't say shit.
There isn't a person probably on this panel who doesn't believe in border security.
Absolutely.
But we don't believe
we
don't believe in doing it in a stupid way.
A mixture of technology, maybe fortifying wall in certain places.
Well, that's what he wants, but he's not looking for 2,000 miles of wall anymore.
And they've done that, Phil. I saw it, and I saw it right after the speech. They did that. They kept saying, "See, they want the wall," and now they don't. They showed Obama in 2009 saying that they wanted more security, and then they cut back to O'Hannity or whoever the fuck it was, and they said, "See, he wants a wall." And he didn't say nothing about it.
So you saw the same video I saw.
They never said. I've seen it too, Phil. I've seen it too, Phil. And they didn't say we want a wall. They said we want border security. I don't think anybody argues that.
And they said they had to stop the influx of illegal aliens and
correct.
And that's been going down since 2001, Phil. We're at the lowest point. The lowest point of migration across the Mexican
and by the way,
it's different right now.
One of the reasons.
They're putting words in their mouth.
Wait a minute. When is the last time you heard Trump mention a caravan?
Just yesterday.
No, he has not mentioned a caravan since.
He said that
the election was over.
The emergency is that because of the caravans, and the caravans are new. It's a new way.
There hasn't been a caravan heading this way since the election.
November.
Right.
And it never got.
He also says he wants the wall to stop drugs coming across the border. But drugs come across the border at ports of entry, Phil. They don't come across the desert.
In trucks and vendors.
I saw Trump with the border people. He had that photo op down at the border.
Yeah,
and he had 514 pounds.
Yeah,
of,
it was all in
drugs.
packages. And do you think that all came across a fence? All that shit came in trucks and fenders and tires. and everything
why
else.
would they have it on the border, right there?
Because they took it out of a
Because
truck
they
and
wanted
brought
a
it over
photo
there.
op, Phil.
Photo op.
They also took Trump down and showed him the tunnels that go under these walls.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
So the walls
I
are big
wanted to,
waste.
I wanted to reach out and grab the bundles and say, "Where did you get these?"
They work in Israel. They got a wall there. It's 99.9.
We don't even know. We don't even know that
the reason he wants a wall is for the campaign promise for his base. That's the only reason. No,
it's only half of his campaign
That's
promise.
$5 billion wasted.
It's totally impractical.
We waste that much on toilet seats.
Bill, if he wanted to negotiate, he could get more money than that if he will do a mix of technology and do it smartly. The Republicans and Democrats would give him the money he needs, not to build a stupid wall.
Brian?
Yeah, I got an update here that dovetails perfectly with what you guys are talking about. According to the businessinsider.com, I saw this on Facebook. GoFundMe is refunding all donations made to the Fund the Wall campaign.
Really?
Yeah, it 5 hours ago someone posted this.
How much was on there?
Probably like 20 million at least, if not more.
God, wow.
Yeah, it was like, last I heard it was like 17 million. All by self-absorbed people who thought that was more pressing than, feeding the homeless, taking care of our vets with PTSD who are on the streets, that kind of shit.
Can I propose this? Let me propose this, and I proposed it before, and I will propose it till the day I die, which could be any day now.
I envy you.
Yeah, and that is, you want to stop drugs from coming across the border. Let's say that's our object. Make them legal. Exactly.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Make them legal. You will dry up that drug trade coming in from Mexico.
The only problem is, Alex, too many shady motherfuckers are profiting from it being illegal.
Yes, but that's why. But the fact of the matter is, you ever remember the movie Scarface? And they want Tony Montana to kill this congressman who's trying to make drugs illegal. And what I said was, that is a virtual impossibility. They wouldn't kill somebody who wants to make them illegal. That only drives the price up. What you want to do is stop the guy who wants to make them legal, because the bottom would fall out of your economy. Right. And the fact is that if tomorrow we made all these drugs legal, they wouldn't be coming into the United States. That's how you stop them, and that's also how you control them.
Yep, absolutely.
No argument here.
And we don't hear Phil arguing with me, so I must be right.
I'm looking up a Snopes thing.
It must be
looking up Drudge.
You mean Smudge?
Smudge? Yeah. But I mean, but the thing is, we never solve our problems in a way that's logical. I read somewhere,
human beings, that's impossible.
That we had spent something like $8 trillion or something interdicting drugs from South America. And I found
somebody made a lot of money on it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I found out that the amount of drugs that were coming in was $5 trillion. So my question was, you want to save money, you buy the drugs, okay? And you save $3 trillion. That's where we're stupid, That's where we don't think logically.
But it's not a matter of that, though. Think about the industry that gets that $8 billion, $1 trillion?
Yeah.
That's an industry, right? That money was spent doing something. People were getting rich on it. Yeah. There's no way they want to stop that.
Well,
it's like the military-industrial complex. Same thing. It's an industry.
Yeah. But it's like oxymorons, like military intelligence. Anyway. But all I'm saying is the best way to solve problems is to walk headlong into them, and you can solve them. But if you're going to keep making this stuff illegal, you're only driving the price up. You're only making a profit for those people who, so they lose a third of what they're sending across the border. That's their profit and loss, and it's all factored in. But they're still making a bloody fucking fortune, and they wouldn't be making a fortune if you legalized all those drugs and let them grow here, made in America. Make America great again. Let's grow all the grass here, all the cocaine here, Although I don't know if we can do
it.
it.
Did in the early 1900s and beforehand.
I don't know if we could do the cocaine here. Do we have cocoa plants of sufficient quality to do it here? I don't know.
You put a buck in a machine, you get a Coke.
We could buy it. Buy it and have it sent over.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it says that.
Well, what I said about that $5 trillion was that since we were going to spend $8 trillion interdicting it, why don't we spend $5 trillion and just buy it all up from them?
Yeah,
and dump it in the ocean somewhere, or do whatever we want to do with it.
Yeah. Because then they'll send over $5 more trillion.
Imagine all the whales, how they'd react.
and you guys are worried about global warming. It says that the video was edited and it was deceptively edited.
Mm-hmm.
Which video are you talking about?
The Obama one.
I'm shocked that they would deceptively edit that video.
Fox, really? Fox?
No, Fox didn't do it. It was done by.
But they're running it.
Oliver McGee, a PhD and an MBA.
Yeah.
Deception. Yeah. He's excelled.
Okay, Phil. So you're going to take it. Wait a minute. You're going to take it back now?
Yeah. That too.
The truth you spoke to.
I liked it, and I thought it was pretty good, and I agreed with it.
There
you go.
Hey, Rob, but the minor in POS.
Well, now we Phil has finally admitted
it was a better video than the original.
Phil has admitted to his failings. Yeah.
Hey, I looked it up, and they said it was altered.
I'm telling you, Phil, a lot of what you hear on Fox News is not corroborated information. They're great at spreading all kinds of bullshit. Well, they really are.
Especially lately.
Yeah, you don't have Roger Ailes there to keep.
I'll tell you though, Rob. I'm not taking you to task for this, but I don't think MSNBC is that much better. I mean, they skew everything their way.
Yeah, but if you're running a video, like Phil saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know the video is been doctored. You should not be running it. Now you could go on television and you could put your point of view, but you better see the problem is they can't find anything to back it up with, so they got to run this crap.
Kevin, how did you know that it was doctored?
On top of it, they pour gasoline on top of it by commenting heavily on it.
Well, Kevin, both sides do that.
Yeah, I know, but I was purposely watching Fox after these speeches and everything else. Because I'd watch MSNBC, okay, I watch them for a few minutes, and I'd say, okay, I know what I'm getting here. And then I'd go over to Fox just to find out what the train wreck was going on. And I was watching Hannity and Laura What's-Her-Face, and it was just a fucking train wreck.
Do you know what outfit is worse than Fox? Is Newsmax.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to watch them.
I like. How about the Blaze?
The Blaze isn't on anymore on Fios stations now. And Verizon, they shut them down, took them off.
Huh.
Actually, I enjoyed the Blaze because Glenn Beck, in spite of the fact that he's an asshole and everything that comes out of his mouth is diarrhea, he shits it so well.
He's entertaining.
He's entertaining. Yeah.
I have watched Neil Cavuto. Neil Cavuto.
Cavuto, yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually been halfway decent lately.
Really?
That is talking
amazing.
shit.
An economist?
Yes, he is.
No, he's like on in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
over
but
here.
He's on there. I love Fox's business channel. It has so little to do with business that I can't believe
Maria
it.
Bartiromo.
The only thing that makes it a business channel is they run a ticker under it. The rest of it is.
Remember when Maria Bartiromo was working on the stock exchange floor?
Bartiromo.
Yeah, and she was working on the stock exchange floor, and every one of those stock exchange brokers would brush up against her chest.
Well, no, in those days she had a name back.
That's when she was on CNBC.
That's when she had the moniker "the Money Honey."
Yeah,
that's right.
And I interviewed her on one occasion during that time, and she was very good. I liked her.
Did you rub up against her?
No. I didn't even jerk off in front of her. So,
But you asked if you could.
Well, I certainly would have asked if I was going to. Yes, you're right, Rob. It's polite. It's only right to be polite. By the way, Kevin, how you feeling without the implant taking your pain away?
I'm getting by. It's been a pain in the butt lately.
Yeah. So what's their latest
pain in the legs lately?
What's their latest plan for your pain?
Probably next month, maybe early March.
What are they going to do then?
I'm probably going to get the implant put in.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then it's 6 to 8 weeks of just laying down.
Really? Well, I can do that sitting down. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
It's going to suck because I can't drive or anything.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, they don't want me to move because they want the stitches inside to scar up and the probes have to set.
Wow.
So I don't move like with the temporary thing moved.
Yeah.
How do you lay down for that long and not move?
Well,
it's not,
you're a woman and you get married.
There you go. No, it's not that bad, but I mean, you can't be doing any lifting or, twisting.
I hope Amy's listening.
They're going to put this thing on me and,
Amy would be having a heart attack right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? She lifts rock. She's got a rock collection.
Does she have a rock collection?
Yeah. She goes out and collects rocks. She's got geodes. You walk into her living room, and there's tables. The kind of tables that they set up at a trade show.
Mm-hmm.
Except there's 6 or 8 of them in a row. Yeah. And they're covered with geodes and rocks, and no matter where you go, there's a table with rocks.
By the way, did I already mention this? I may have mentioned this the other night. We watched this movie that was out a couple of years ago called Into the Woods. Has anybody seen this?
No.
This is a Stephen Sondheim musical in which it's a
This is old, right?
Yeah, it was done in 2014. And it's a mashup between Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, who else? Rapunzel, and it's a musical. It's a brilliant, brilliant musical. And it stars Meryl Streep as the witch, and you got James Corden as the baker, and he's wonderful in it. It just is a great little movie. It's on Starz, and it's a musical. And if you like Sondheim's musicals, this one I think won the Tony years ago, and it's a great musical. And I think it's a film that was completely ignored. I don't think it got nominated for anything, and it should have. It's that good, because we've been sitting around watching all these movies that we're supposed to vote on, and most of them suck. The only good ones was The Green Room and the Melissa McCarthy picture. And did we watch anything else that we liked? No, that was about it. And this film was actually directed by the same guy who directed Mary Poppins Returns, which is I think the worst film of last year.
Oh, really?
Tied for my money with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Back in 2007, Alex, I wanted to make a porno offshoot of Mary Poppins and call it Cherry Poppins. Use your imagination just to see where it takes it.
I'm sure if we go back and look at the lexicon of the 10 million porn films made, there is one out there called Cherry Poppins. I'm sure. I'm sure there's one called Sailor Dick Takes a Stern Approach. I'm sure there are films like that out there. In fact, do you remember that film with Tom Cruise, Cocktail? They made a porno version of it called Cocktail.
They could have been more creative.
There's nothing on TV. There's nothing out there.
I just watched a couple of great shows. I love The Orville.
The Orville?
Yeah, I love the. You like it?
That Orville, right? Orville and Wilbur?
No.
I watched the Marvelous
Seth MacFarlane.
Maisel.
What?
I watched the Marvelous Maisel because you guys were talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a really good program.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of episodes to get into it.
Oh yeah, at least 3.
Yeah.
Did you watch first and second season?
I have like a couple of
and also when you get a chance, the Kaminsky, what's it called? The
I started watching that. The Kaminsky method
is terrific.
What I understand, though, once you reach past 50 years of age, these institutions, these outfits are no longer marketing to you, which is why a lot of the shit is unwatchable, even to me.
Quite wrong about Netflix, because Netflix, for instance, the Kaminsky method, I don't think can appeal to anybody who isn't Jewish or over 70. You know,
it won an award, didn't it?
Huh?
At the
Golden
Globes?
Yeah, it won an award. And as I say, my urologist loved it because he loved the line. Alan Alda has a line in there. Nobody likes their urologist. And he said, and then the other line he liked was, I got good news, I got bad news. Well, what's the bad news? You've got cancer. What's the good news? You got the good kind. You know, so.
I could have sworn he said he was diddling his nurse.
No, that's an old joke.
I know it's an old joke, but I think that's what he said. And I just,
I got good news, I got bad news. What's the bad news? I got cancer. What's the good news? See my secretary? I'm fucking her.
I think the funniest part was Danny DeVito playing the urologist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I like anybody who would provide me with health care. Who I can't stand would be anybody who represents an insurance company.
Yeah. But
those people, no one would like. No one should like.
But I really, the Kaminsky Method is a good show, and Maisel is great over on Amazon, and I love Orville. I love one of my other favorite shows is Gotham. It's a great show.
I don't like any of that superhero crap.
Well, I've been watching stuff on YouTube lately. Russian MMA boxing, drunk drivers getting pulled over, and these something citizens, these guys that don't want to talk to cops, won't roll their windows down.
Hey, Phil, you ever watch Ultimate Public Freakout compilations? They're like an hour long, and they have a compilation of everything, people flipping out at stores, getting caught for shoplifting.
Well, the best that we used to run on.
I watched Road Rage Drivers.
What we did on this show when we were doing it as a TV show over at the studio is I would run
shoot themselves?
The Russian videos of dash cams, because everybody in Russia has a dash cam because people like to swipe into people and they want to prove it wasn't their fault. And so you have all these great videos of things like they
road rage hard. They get into it. Goddamn.
Yeah.
I just got I've had a video system at the store where I could see who's walking in the front door because my office is not in view of the front door.
Well, knowing your business, that's not too often, so there's not much to watch.
Yeah, and also to see what's going in and out of the warehouse, which is a building next to the main building. And so people have been dumping in my dumpster, so I put a hard drive in it so I could record. And now I also can see it in live time on my phone. So it's now the next thing I want a dash cam because, I turn on the phone at 6 in the morning and I'm watching, if anybody's dumping in my parking lot. Or,
damn it, now I got to find a new place, huh?
You're right. You got to find a new place. That's right. With that, we start playing the theme song. Hey, everybody. It's been fun tonight. I got through it okay. I'm not really feeling all that sick. So I should be able to wake up tomorrow morning and not feel like a pile of dog poop.
I consider the intersection the after party anymore, which is good.
Yeah, it is the after party.
Continue it on with Jack Pitt's program.
So you might want to go over there and talk to him. Hey, listen, thank you so much, Vernon Nunn, and thank you very much for those notes you wrote me. They were very, they made my life a lot easier. Just hearing from you saying, don't worry about it, kid. I had the same thing. I'm tough. Phil, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Luckily, you didn't write me and say, well, I got mine cut out, so I'm glad you didn't write about that. By the way, I asked my doctor, is the prostate going to go? And he said, no way. That was a definite. Of course, you're going to die, but no way. And Brian, good talking to you once again. Always good to have you here. Jeff, always nice to see you, and hope your cold gets better.
I hope so too.
Yeah, thanks for being here during the cold. Rob,
is it cold? Is it snowing where you guys are?
No,
it snowed a little bit this morning.
Yeah, it doesn't snowing here. And
it's chilly in Pittsburgh, but no snow.
Thanks to Rob and Kevin. Always nice to see you as well. Everybody, give a big wave to the audience, a goodbye, and I'll wave back at you. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel. Let me kind of get rid of them here unceremoniously because Jack Bishop needs the phones next to be able to do his little program, which is the intersection. And we will not be here until, let's see here, next Tuesday, because on Tuesday at 9:30, it's Damian Chaplin and The Exchange. By the way, look for us on TuneIn. We not only have the live stream now, but all our programs are being podcast on TuneIn as well. I'll see you on Tuesday. Same time, same station in life, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And in the meantime, if you see her, shout at her and tell her, I love you!